of 361 is 19, and the square root of 400 is 20. So these basic ones, I am going to use them to explain to you how we can simplify sorts, because if you can remember all these basic square root of numbers, that is when you will understand the topic of discussion, which is called sorts.
Yes, sir.
Should I scroll up?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, what this things means is that I can give you something like this and ask you to simplify. I can ask you to simplify the following, okay? And how relevant these square root of numbers are. Maybe question number one, you are asked to simplify. I hope you are listening. Simplify 98, okay? So what we are going to do here is to find a factor of 98 that must be a perfect square. Those numbers I have given you, their square roots are called perfect squares. So here I can decide to write 98 as a 49 multiplied by 2, which means the square root of 49 multiplied by the square root of 2. But the square root of 49 is 7. Then we write root 2 attached to it. What that means is that root 2 is in the basic form because there is no square root of 2. Okay? Maybe I give you something like this, a very small number, the square root of 12 to simplify. To simplify this, you use 4 multiplied by 3, which is the same thing as square root of 4 multiplied by square root of 3. But the square root of 4 is 2. Then our answer now is 2 root 2, 3. I hope you can see that.
Yeah.
If I give you something like this to simplify for me the square root of 45, you need to find one of the numbers that can divide 45 to be a perfect number. By a perfect number, I mean all these ones that I have given you their square roots from number 1 to the number 20. So now I can write 45 as 9 multiplied by 5 because I know the square root of 9. That is why I choose 9. If I had chosen another number, it may not have worked. I have to make sure that one of the numbers I'm using must be a perfect number. That is a number that has square root. So the square root of 9 now is 3, making my answer to be 3 square root 5 or 3 root 5. I hope that makes sense to you.
Yes, sir.
I can give you to simplify the square root of 18. This is the same thing as square root of 9 multiplied by 2, and that is going to give me square root of 9 multiplied by the square root of 2. So the answer now can be 3 root 2. Number 5, maybe I give you to simplify the square root of, let's say, the square root of 64, or no, 72. Beautiful. So this can be written as 36 multiplied by 2, which is the square root of 36 multiplied by the square root of 2. So making our answer to be 6 root 2. Now, this has formed the basic of a source. How we can simplify single sorts. Okay? How we can simplify single sorts. So, when you are simplifying and it reaches where you cannot simplify further, then you stop. It means that the sword is in its basic form. Like the answers we got are in their basic form. What do I mean by that? It means that when you simplify and get to a point whereby the irrational part cannot further be simplified, then it means that that sword has reached its basic form. Now, what does it mean? When I say the
Uh,
irrational part cannot be simplified, example, you cannot simplify square root of 3, you cannot simplify square root of 5, you cannot simplify square root of 2. Do you understand it now? So those are what we call the basic form. Okay? So
yes, sir.
basic form of sword is when you have simplified a sword, basic form, and it reaches a point whereby you cannot do anything further on it. Example, you are solving a sword and you get something like root 2. It is in basic form. If you get something like root 15, it's in basic form because even though 3 times 5 is 15, but there is no square root of 3 and there is no square root of 5. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So if I give you something like square root of 11, it is in basic form. You cannot simplify it. If I give you square root of 13, it is in basic form. If I give you something like square root of 14, it is in basic form. Even though 14 is 2, 7 times 2. But there is no square root of 7. Also, there is no square root of 2. That is why we say a surd is basic form. But when I now give you something like, say, square root of, let's say, 24, it is not in basic form because you can use 4 to multiply 6 to get 24. That 4 that you could use is what we call the perfect number, that which can divide 24. And that is why we can see that it can be simplified, meaning that because 4 can divide 24 and 4 is a perfect number, we can now be able to simplify the square root of 24 in its simplest form. Else, it can be said to be in the basic form as the first lineups. Therefore, this can now be written as square root of 4 multiplied by square root of 6, which is exactly 2 root 6 as the final answer to this question. If I give you something like now, the square root of 27, I want you to guide me. What will you do to simplify the square root of 27? I need to hear from you.
You do nine square root times 6. I mean
Yes.
9 square root times 3 times 3 is 3.
Yes, because 9 is a factor of 27 and 9 is a perfect number. So that is a very perfect way to solve it. Square root of 9 is 3, then root 3. Meaning that your answer now is 3 root 3. That is the answer. So the simplification of square root of 27 is 3 root 3. You understand? But when I give you
Yes.
something like to simplify square root of 26, do you think it can work?
No, sir.
It cannot work because the factors of 26 are 13 and the 2. You understand? So
Yeah.
13 has no square root and 2 has no square root. So this is in its basic form. Nobody can tell you now here to simplify this square root of 26. So this now explains the basic simplification of surds when you are given single surds and you are asked to simplify them in their simplest form. Okay?
Hmm.
All right. So I will allow you to put anything necessary down before we now move on. Square root of n plus square root of n. You can add them and get 2 root n. If I give you square root of 2 plus 3 root 2, you can add them and get 4 root 2. 4 root 2. Okay, what it means is that when sorts, the irrational parts are the same, you can add them and subtract them. Okay, so if I give you something like the square root of 3 plus 5 root 3, this is the same thing as 6 root 3. Okay, because it is root 3 here and it is root 3 here. That is why we can add it. If I give you something like 9 root 5, subtract 4 root 5, the answer is going to give me 5 root 5. We can only add and subtract when the irrational parts are the same. You can see that.
Yes, sir.
But if I give you something like, say, 2 root 3 plus, let's say, 4 root 5, and you are asked to simplify, there is nothing you can do here. The reason is because root 3 and root 5 are not the same. Can you see that? They are not the same, so you cannot add them. Can you see that?
Yes.
So
Yes.
they are not similar. So we say sorts are similar when the irrational parts are the same. Now, what if I now give you something that looks like this? Let's say I give you 1, the square root of 20 plus the square root of 12. Okay, you can be asked to simplify this. What does it mean? You do 20 as 4 multiplied by 5, and you do 12 as what? 4 multiplied by 3. So if you simplify it further, you are going to get 2 root 5 plus 2 root 3. Final answer. You have to leave your answer like this. Why? Because this place is root 5 and this place is root 3. So you cannot add the 2. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And you can simplify root 20. That is why you simplified it to get 2 root 5. You can also simplify root 12. That is why you also simplified it to get 2 root 3. Let's say I have question number 2 here, and I say simplify the square root of 18 plus the square root of 12. This is the same thing as saying square root of 18 is 9 multiplied by 2, and square root of 12 is 4 multiplied by 3. So if you work on this, you are going to get 3 root 2 plus 2 root 3. And this is your answer, okay? You cannot
Yeah.
add them because the irrational parts are not the same. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, what if it is in this form? Let's say the question number 3 says this way, that you should simplify, let's say the square root of 75, the square root of 75, maybe minus the square root of 45, okay, the square root of 45. Okay, you can agree with me to solve this. This can be solved. 75 is the same thing as 25 multiplied by 3 minus 45 is the same thing as 9 multiplied by 5. You agree?
Yes,
But
sir.
square root of 25 is going to give me 5, then root 3. Subtract. Square root of 9 is going to give me 3, then root 5. This is my final answer. Why? Because I cannot subtract the two last answers. Okay? This becomes final answer. The reason is because here is root 3 and here is root 5. So two of them will now be left like this as the final answer to it. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see if we can take the one that has the the irrational parts being the same. Okay, for instance, I have taken a question, let's say the square root of 40. Okay, square root of 40 plus the square root of, let's say, 45. Okay, this can be solved as, um, okay, let's do it this way. It can be solved as 40 is the same thing as 4 multiplied by 10. You can agree. And this one is, um, oh, 9 times 5. So the irrational parts are still not the same. So this is going to give me 2 root 2 10 plus what? 3 root 2 5. And that is my final answer to number 4.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, let's look at this. Maybe number 5. I have something like the square root of 6, or let me put it this way. I put it this way. 10 root 6 minus square root of 24. Minus square root of 24. And you are asked to simplify this. To simplify it, what we are going to do is this. We are going to solve it thus. Root 2 is in the basic form. That is why I cannot change it. But root 24 can be simplified as 4 multiplied by 6. Beautiful. So at this point, what I have now is 10 root 6 minus 2 root 6. If you look at this now, you can agree with me. There is root 6 here, there is root 6 here. So I can now subtract them to get my answer as 8 root 6. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
So had it been that the irrational parts are not the same, that is where I would have stopped. Maybe I got to 10 root 6 minus 2 root 2 5. I wouldn't have done anything further. That becomes the final answer.
5 square root 2.
Number 2,
7 square root 3.
number 3,
9 square root 3.
number 4,
10 square root 5.
number 5,
14 square root 5.
number 6,
15 square root 7.
number 7,
I don't do number 7.
okay, did you do number 8?
Yeah.
What did you get?
I got 4 square root 2.
Number 9.
I got 16 square root 3.
Number 10.
I got I got 10 square root 5.
What about number 11?
Number 11, I got 1 square root 17.
Say it again.
1 square root 17.
And the number 12.
3 square root 6.
3 square root 6. All right. So let us evaluate your work and see the ones that you got correctly and if you got all correct. All right. So moving forward from here. 32. If you could solve this 32, I wonder why you say you didn't do number 7, but 32 is the same thing as 16 multiplied by 2, which is 4 root 2. 4 root 2 plus root 2 will give you 5 root 2, so this is correct. Then 48 is 16 multiplied by 3, so that is square root of 16 multiplied by 3. And this one is 9 multiplied by 3 as well. So this is now going to give me 3 root 3, and this will give me 4 root 3. Addition of the 2 will give us 7 root 3 is correct. This one is 9 multiplied by 3 square root. Then 108. 108, if I divide it by 3, I'll get 36. So that is the 36 multiplied by 3. Meaning that this is 6 root 3, and this one is 3 root 3. So the addition of the 2 will give us what you got, which is very accurate. You're right. Then here is square root of 16 multiplied by 5. 180 is the same thing as let's see, 180 divided by 5 will give me 36. So it's the same thing as 36 multiplied by 5. So this is now 6 root 5, while this one is 4 root 5. The addition of the 2 will give you 10 root 5. That is correct. You're accurate. Then this one is the same thing here. We got to the square root of 186 root 5. So I will write here 6 root 5 quickly. Then here 320. 320 is the same thing as 64. Okay, the square root of 64 multiplied by 5. So this is 8 root 5, and this is 6 root 5. Addition of the 2, yeah, you are very accurate. Then in this 252, if I do 252 divided by 7, it will give me 36. So here is square root of 36 multiplied by 7, and then 567. 567. If I divide it by 7, I will get 81. So here is 81 multiplied by 7, meaning that this one will give us 6 root 7, and this one will give us 9 root 7. So two of them will give us 15 root 7. You are very accurate. And this is the first time you are doing this topic. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are doing good. You are doing good. You understood the concept. So here you did not do, what you are meant to do is 16, okay, multiplied by 2. Why this one is going to be 4 multiplied by 2. So 16 will give us 4 root 2, and this one will give us 2 root 2. The addition of the 2 is meant to give you 6 root 2. All right, we come to this. This is going to give us 8 is the same thing as 4 multiplied by 2. So that 4 will come out to multiply these 2 to give us 4 root 2. Why this one is already 8 root 2. So 8 root 2 minus 4 root 2 will give us 4 root 2 is correct. Then this one is going to be 9 multiplied by 3. Why this one is going to be 4 multiplied by 3. So 9 here will give us 3. Multiplied by 2 will give us 6 root 3. Why this place will now be square root of 4 is not 2. 2 multiplied by 5 will give us 10 root 3. So 10 root 3 plus this is 16 root 3, which is very accurate. Then in this one, you are meant to get 4 multiplied by 5. So 4 is, square root of 4 is 2. 2 multiplied by 5 will give us 10 root 5. Then here will be 20 root 5 minus 10 root 5 will give us 10 root 5. That is very accurate. Then coming to this one, 68. 68 divided by 17 we give us 4. So this one is the same thing as 4 multiplied by 17. And that is going to give us 2 root 17 when you find the square root of 4. Then 2 root 17 minus 2 minus root 17 will give us exactly root 17. You called it 1 root 17, but the way we write it is just root 17. Just as you cannot write 1x, but you just write x. So that
Okay.
way, yes. Then here 96, if I divide 96 by 6, I'm going to get 16. So 96 can be written as the square root of 16 multiplied by 6. Then 24 is the same thing as the square root of 4 multiplied by 6. So that this 16 will give me 4 root 6. Hold on, just a moment. Let me scroll it up. Okay, cool. Now, so meanwhile, this one will give us 2 root 66. Now, 4 root 6 plus 2 root 6. Okay, hold on. 4 root 6 plus 6 root 6 will give me 5 root 6. Then subtract 2 root 6. Subtract 2 root 6. That is equal to 3 root 6. So your work here is accurate. Meaning out of the 12, the 11 that you did are all correct. Okay, the 11 you did are all correct. This is very wonderful performance. I wonder why you didn't do that number 7. You could have gotten the answer.
I done instead of doing 16 times 2, I done 4 times 8. 8 times 4, sorry. So it didn't
Okay,
make sense.
okay. So in this one you did now, it's exactly 92%. 92%. That is very wonderful performance. The square root of 3 multiplied by 12. Remember before, when we have it like this, we separate it as they have given it to us. And when you work on it, it is going to be the square root of 36. So the answer to number 1 is what? 6. Are you getting me? That is number 1. Number 2, we have 2 root 5 multiplied by 3 root 2. See how you can do this. To do this, what you do is use 2 to multiply 3. That is 2 times 3 will give us 6. Then do 5 multiplied by 2, making the answer 6 root 10. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is number 3. Number 3, I am given the square root of 2 to multiply the bracket root 6 plus root 10. So let's solve this and see what the result will look like. So doing it, I will open the bracket, and when I open the bracket, it is going to be like this. It will now become like this. 2 multiplied root 6 will give me the square root of 12, and 2 multiplied by 10 will give me the square root of 20. Now, I can further simplify square root of 12 as the square root of 4 multiplied by 3 plus the square root of 4 multiplied by 5. So this is now going to give me 2 root 3 plus 2 root 5 as the final answer to number 3. I believe it makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question number 4. Question number 4. Here we are given to expand 2 square root of 3 multiplying 5 square root of 6. So what we are going to do is what I exactly did in number 2. I'm going to use 2 to multiply 12. I'm going to use 2 to multiply 5 rather. So doing that, what it means is that 2 will multiply 5 to give me 2 times 5. Then root 3 will multiply root 6 to give me root 3 multiplied by root 6. So this is now going to be 10 root what? 18, which is the same thing as 10 root 9 multiplied by 2. That is 10 times 3 root 2, making the final answer to be 30 root 2. I don't know if that is got it.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, because we
Nambu, agwara m Ìbàdàn sí